States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
I'm here.
And Mr. Cabrera.
I am here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board here in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing the same to the Herald of Cape May County on October 4th, 2023, and the Press of Atlantic City on December 13th, 2023. In the event of an emergency, your emergency exit is your back right or our front left, or just by the American flag, your front left, our front right. This meeting is being shown live here today on the borough's Facebook and YouTube channel. I just want to do a quick sound check. Vicky, are we sounding good? All right. If you're watching this meeting live and you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to call in, and you're going to use the conference line number, which sits right up here with us at 888-363-4734. And when prompted, you're going to enter the access code 9699020, followed by the pound or the hashtag. If you happen to watch the recorded version of this meeting and you have questions or comments, you're more than welcome to email our clerk at clerk@wildwoodcrest.org or phone her at 609-729-8040. Madam Clerk, I believe we have two ordinances, one for passage and one for introduction.
Correct. The first is ordinance number 1431 regarding murals.
Motion that ordinance number 1431 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1431 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance 1431 reads as follows. An ordinance of the Borough of Wildwood Crest amending section 85-97 signs, Article 15, Chapter 85, Land Development, to regulate murals on buildings and other structures in the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
Motion that a public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1431.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1431 now be held.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open for public comment on ordinance number 1431. Start with anybody here in the audience. No one? Anyone on the conference line have any public comments specific to ordinance number 1431? Hearing none?
Motion that a public hearing on ordinance number 1431 now be closed.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1431 now be closed.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that ordinance number 1431 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1431 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 1432, and it reads as follows. An ordinance adopting a redevelopment plan for certain property in the Borough of Wildwood Crest, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey.
Motion that ordinance number 1432 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on May 22nd, 2024 at 5 p.m.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1432 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on May 22nd, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have the resolutions. The first is authorizing a licensing agreement between the Borough of Wildwood Crest and Wild Harbor Tri-Club for use of the kayak launch for open water swim season 2024.
All motion?
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is designating May 5th through the 11th, 2024 as the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week in the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
All motion?
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes, and it sounds like we're in the middle of that week now, right?
We are.
All right,
Game
well,
on.
MC, this is your resolution.
Yep.
Thank you for all your hard work and all your organization and keeping us up to date and all what you do. And you and Vicky.
My pleasure.
I second.
Thank you.
I'll third.
Right on. Next is designating May 19th to 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Week in the Borough of Wildwood Crest.
I'll motion that.
I will second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes, and that is a national holiday, by the way,
Are we on?
National Public Works Week. But everybody still has to work.
Next is authorizing refund of mercantile license and tourism fees to Mildred Purcell.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing amendment to the 2024 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the Greater Wildwood Tourism Improvement Development Authority for 2024 summer events.
I'll motion that.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing amendment to the 2024 municipal budget to account for additional funding from the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund Safety Incentive Program.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing the Borough of Wildwood Crest to enter into a contract for cooperative purchasing with Camden County Educational Services Commission.
Motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Lastly is authorizing a licensing agreement between the Borough of Wildwood Crest and 7116 Park Boulevard LLC for the use of a portion of Lakeview Docks LLC for porta potties.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Motion that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Can I get a second?
Yeah, motion. A second.
It has been moved and seconded
Oh,
that all
actually,
bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Thank
Brian,
you,
I was
Trish.
watching the turnout. I knew it was facing the wrong way. It kind of broke me the wrong.
Okay, brings us to correspondence. None listed under the agenda. We'll go to the first round of public comments. We'll start with anybody here in the audience. Anybody have public comments? Please come on up to the podium. We do not need your address, just your name. A lot of staff here today.
I feel pretty safe today.
Yeah. Anyone on the conference line have any public comments? Round one. Okay, moving right on to the discussion items. Under first item and only item under new business is potential street reconstruction program. I believe our CFO, Francine, and Mark de Blasio participated in a webinar on this program. Sounds like there's a good opportunity for the Borough of Wildwood Crest. And we'll ask
Thank you.
Dana White, AKA Francine Springer, to
Hello.
Just some information for everyone. Good morning. Yes, the mayor had asked that Mark Blasio and myself attend, look into possible funding, financing at the iBank. So there was a large seminar on April 24th, which Mark de Blasio and myself attended via Zoom. So there was a slideshow, obviously, a PowerPoint presentation, which I've given you a couple of pages from that so that you can review at your leisure afterwards. So basically, the New Jersey Transportation Bank, which is the otherwise known as the iBank. So it is, they fund road projects as well as different infrastructure sewer projects as well. So this is, the front page that I did give to you was really why use them. So basically it gives you some flexibility in budget relief, and it lowers the cost of the capital project. So why use them for the borough? We actually have a great rating. Our Moody's rating is a AA2 right now, but what the iBank does is they lend you money at their rate, which is a AAA. So if you look at the information on the sheet, you can see basically what the iBank does. So what they're gonna do for us in this circumstance is if we have a $5 million project for roads that we would like to go out and pursue for the upcoming year, what we would do is we would go and go to the iBank, they would finance it, and what they do is they give you a grant. It's not really a grant in the standard terms, but what they do is they give you a reduction of interest. So you would, depending on how many years you go out to borrow on the project, so if it's under 10 years, you receive a 75% interest-free financing. So you would only have to pay interest on 25% of that, which is a huge reduction, and it's at a better rate. We actually have a great rate, but theirs is even better than ours. So if you look at page 2 on here, it just basically kind of explains it. If it's under 10 years, if it's under 10 years, you only have to pay 25% interest at the AAA market rate, and if it's over 10 years, if you borrow over 10 years, then you only get 50% interest free. So the grant is only 50% of the interest. So really, it's a great example that they use because the example that is attached just happens to be a 10-year maturity for a AA2 borrower. So basically, it just shows you the savings, which is about a $500,000 grant really to the borough. So we would save $500,000 if we borrowed $5 million. On interest. So it's a really good opportunity for the borough. Mark and I are gonna look at the project, see what is out there and available for road reconstruction, and then what we'll do is we'll reach out to the finance department at the iBank and see if we can fit the $5 million or wherever that lands into our current debt service schedule. So I think it's a no-brainer for the borough. I mean, to save the money on the interest, because it could be more than that. It just depends on what the rates are. So basically, right now, the AA rate is coming in at 3%. Like someone just borrowed and had a AAA rate, and it was at 3%. As far as our rate, someone just borrowed out on the market, and they got 3.75. So it's a large savings.
Any questions for
Francine,
Yes.
is there a time that we have to get into this, or is it kind of open?
Yeah, it's open. Yes, it's open. The
Okay,
iBank
good.
is always there, and they just happen to have probably some extra funding at this point, so they're promoting getting in right now because they have extra money to award. Because at some point, obviously they can't award all, because it is a grant. They're basically granting us money, at no finance, and no interest.
Thank you, that's great.
Yeah, no problem.
Can we do it today?
I'm sorry?
Can we borrow it today?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want to so the next step would be, if there's some interest here, is for our engineer, de Blasio and Associates, to identify roadway projects. And I'll just go back to, for a second, that there was a sanitary sewer and street condition master plan that was done in 2018 into 2019.
Mhm.
And then there was also, as you know, we've been doing various mill and pave projects, just dealing with the asphalt and the condition itself. However, this program is more for the sanitary sewer systems and all the infrastructure underneath it. So there was a lot of streets, including the ones that we're getting ready to start or they're under construction now, that we didn't want to waste money on milling and paving, that need to be completely reconstructed. So this would be a great program for that. One of the streets that I loosely talked with engineering about, and we had a meeting yesterday on it. So Park Boulevard from Cressy down to Rambler is in really bad shape. So after the summer, we anticipate starting the bulkhead project and the valves and all that, where those the street ends will be raised, but they will tie directly into Park Boulevard. So that might be a project that may have some interest to the borough, and then maybe a couple of side streets that we're having some problems with. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, a way for engineering, but for some interest, if we don't mind sliding iBank and street reconstructor on the old business, we'll come back to that one.
Absolutely.
Some of the streets have terracotta pipes underneath them
Yeah, a lot of them, that's
that are
the-
breaking down.
Yeah, the terracotta pipes, there's old clay, there's some other types too. I think there might
Yeah,
be some.
I was aware of that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Francine, did anyone else explore this in other municipalities? Do you
Oh,
know?
yes, definitely. The county has just recently, and there's definitely other municipalities in Cape May County that have explored.
So we wouldn't be the
No.
first, obviously. Okay, that's fine with me.
Great,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
You're
Francine.
very welcome.
Okay, moving under old business, we have the time limit parking. I think that is respect to the 20-minute parking listed here. And kind of similar to that was, I think, actually Jake laid out a diagram for some employee parking in the lot across the street, as well as along Pacific Avenue. I don't know if we have any movement on that yet, or wherever we stand on that yet. Anybody? And it was, if I can just round off, it was $35,000 for a change order to do that work while we have contractors in town. So I believe you were a no, I was a yes.
I still have to review the actual details of what we're doing with that project, because 35,000 is, might be a little bit extreme, but I have to review it right now.
Yeah, just to summarize that, so it kind of, there's some concrete work involved, line striping, some seal coating. The parking spaces will be employee parking on Pacific Avenue, basically the Sweetbriar to Cardinal Block. The concrete work is in the actual parking lot, so that you can't use the whole curb as the drive-in and off area. You have to have one access point, and that's gonna be, would be off of Pacific Avenue.
Yes.
And I know we're getting some complaints. I know some of the staff has told me that the neighbors are upset that we're parking in front of their houses. So this would help us delineate employee parking and get them away from their houses. So anyway, so
That's basically what I was gonna say, is I haven't heard any complaints. I don't believe the chief has gotten any complaints from anything for the parking even around this area. This is really kinda self-made, is where I stand on that. And 35,000 is a lot of money to spend. So that's where I stand on that. When we get closer, I'll have more to say.
okay, we'll keep it under the old business.
Thank you.
Concession agreement, that's on hold. Traffic calming, there was a meeting with Colliers Engineering yesterday with staff from Public Safety, Chief and Ralph Grassi, as well as the engineering firm, myself, Connie and Francine. And we're awaiting a report as a result of all that meeting, so as soon as that is available, we'll certainly share that internally. Back Beach excavation is on hold, but on that note, Public Works has started doing their pre-season, pre-Memorial Day maintenance to the beach. Beach is starting to come around, starting to look good. Dredging, anything on that?
Nothing on my end, Connie. I don't know if you spoke to,
I did actually speak to Scott Douglas last week. They are still in acquisition, believe it or not, for Ephraim's Island. They are making progress. The dredging project may be delayed slightly because of the update on North Wildwood's dredging, which is going to occur very shortly. There was a new arrangement made with the governor's office, so it may push phase 2 of our dredging project back slightly. They are still doing permitting and they are still in the acquisition phase, but because of the use of the dredge company, it may push us back just a little bit. I'm waiting to hear back on exact numbers and when that will happen.
Okay. New Jersey Avenue infrastructure pre-county, that's starting, I think we're ready to go out the bid on that soon, but we're still trying to tie in some loose ends with the county, but more importantly, the funding for it. Public Works roof, the funding will be in place for that project on May the 20th. The vendor, it's a co-op vendor, they indicated that it's about 8 to 10 weeks out for materials, so if awarded sometime in early June, the project could start as early as, say, August, somewhere in that neighborhood. All right, Bayside Outfalls, we talked about that. So there was just a discussion yesterday with respect to kind of like the process of that, so just to touch base on that. There are properties that have personal property installed, such as pavers and rock and slate and so forth in the public right-of-way. All of those individuals will need to be notified. The bid specs are ready to go. We anticipate going out to bid in June. There will be notice given to all the affected owners that have issues, and then there'll also be general notice to all the owners, letting them know that the project is moving closer and when it's going to start, and it basically covers all the details, so there's no questions as to what's going on and why and how much and all that good stuff. So these wheels are in motion. We anticipate having an answer on the FEMA grants for the potential pump stations at some time in June, no later than July 1st, and then we will need to move forward on the decision. And even if there is money from FEMA that gets awarded to the borough, the project as it exists will not be affected in terms of if we had to add pump stations in later, so.
The draft letter went out yesterday to all the parties involved, and I did get comments back, so I'm gonna finalize that draft, send out the second draft to the governing body members today. As soon as I get done the meeting, that's the goal, is to get that letter done, get it out to the governing body members for their review before it gets sent out, and hopefully, we can get the 200-foot list from our assessor early next week, and we can get that first letter out that explains the entire project. The second letter, we decided would not be sent out until after the May 22nd presentation that Mark will be doing.
Okay.
So our engineer's gonna do a presentation at that meeting explaining the project, getting more in depth, and then we'll send out the specific letters to property owners that have unique circumstances that need to be addressed.
Yeah, it's a good point, you reminded me of that. So May 22nd, Mark is planning to do a public presentation. We will need to put out a press release on that, Mr. Kniff, inviting the public to either watch the live or come to the meeting, because it'd be a good opportunity for any of those property owners to ask questions and get more details. Okay, Washington Seaview, no word from Mr. Rotolo on that grant opportunity, correct? Nothing yet. Okay. Public comments, last round. Anybody here in the audience? We have a closed session item on the agenda. Anybody on the conference line have any public comments? Commissioners, do you have any? I'm sorry. Go.
Hello, this is Steve Tarnowski, 5401 Lake Road. Congratulations on the Bay Sewer Gates progress for the project. Congratulations. I mean, this is a long time coming. Thank you very much. I wanted to follow up on the bulkhead at 5400 Lake Road. I know over probably the last 2 months, the police chief has been out there taking a bunch of pictures, and I just want to understand the progress of that bulkhead being contracted to be raised up to equal at least the ordinance in the town right now, or improve so it doesn't flood the neighborhood the next time we get a high tide. I think the next high tide is going to be either tonight or tomorrow night, and our street's going to be flooded again from that bulkhead. So I was just wondering what the progress was on having that resident raise their bulkhead.
I'm not, I know that a violation notice went out with that respective information, and there's generally a period that they would need to comply with, that if not, then the summons would be issued for them to appear in court. I don't have the answer for that right now as I stand here, but I can certainly get you the information and give you a call back if you don't mind. You don't have to do it now, but if you don't mind following up with the clerk's office, and we'll get back to you with that information.
Okay, yeah, I'll give Connie a call later, probably tomorrow, later this afternoon, probably tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay.
That information from code enforcement and the chief,
Okay.
when he calls me, so I can
All right.
answer his question.
Last round of public comments. Again, anybody here in the audience, anybody on the conference line? Hearing none. I'm sorry, commissioner comments. I don't have any, by the way.
Just happy Mother's Day. That's all I have.
I'd like to just say that I'm seeing a lot of work done around town. Your departments are busy cleaning up and getting things ready. Our police department is gearing up for our special occasion on the 11th, and I appreciate the work that they're doing. I also want to thank the rescue for their participation in this event also. There's a lot of things moving, a lot of cogs in that wheel that make this whole thing go. And we have a great staff, great superior staff, great chief in both areas, and you're just doing wonderful. I appreciate that. I sound like I'm always saying that all the time, but I mean it. So we have a great community. Other than that, have a happy Mother's Day, and we'll see you later.
Okay, so, Trish, you have a resolution?
Yes, authorizing an executive close in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-12B, with regard to 4 items. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second, Trish.
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call, Mr. Schiff.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
It's 9:56.
Can we take 5?
Thank you.